she cheated on me. I found out for the past 5 years, and you're making $1 million a year, and you find out your wife is cheating on you, okay? And he's like, I have to pay spousal support. We were married for 25 years. Our kids are older. I mean, it's a textbook case for alimony, and the law is you have to pay. So why is it fair? Or putting into the framing it the way you said it, we entered into this contract. Why do I have to? I want out, but why do I have to pay 50%? She broke a fundamental principle term of the contract. Fine. Fair question. And I'm not condoning it. Look, as you can see, I'm a religious person. I keep the 10 Commandments. You can't commit adultery, but the court doesn't go behind the law is that the court doesn't get behind closed doors. Let's say the circumstances were that this person, again, I started with a male and female, so I'm continuing with it. He was abusive physically, verbally. They were different bedrooms for 30 years. And he was financially abusive. And that's why this happened. So those are two different scenarios. So I'm not I'm not. The court's condoning is not condoning or not making any judgment one way or the other, but it's there. I'm not God, but there's two. One, the first scenario seems a lot worse than the second one, considering the nature of the relationship. So the answer to the question is, why was it broken? Well, not the answer to the question is the law is that the court doesn't that's not a factor in determining how much support or equalization of property someone should get. But the reasoning behind it, I believe, is a better answer than the question. It makes sense. We don't know why people break up, and that's not the laws. That's not society or the court system's role. The role is to make rules around marriage and common law relationships. And the example I gave you was to demonstrate why I think the law is correct and makes sense, because we don't know why people break up. And if the court starts getting into the weeds with one relationship and it opens up a whole floodgates. And then this person does get spousal support because the spouse cheated on them, and the other one doesn't get spousal support even though the spouse cheated on them because the circumstances surrounding it. I hope that answers your question a bit.
No, but there are.
I think you're.
Go ahead.
I think when there are kids involved, you're taking out the concept and statistics that 2 parents is a better situation than 1 parent, and the law favors. The law doesn't take into any of those things, but it makes it much easier for someone to say, all right, I'm done. And I'm breaking up this thing that's best for my children. And I have a way out. If it doesn't work out, I'm entering into this thing, but I have a way out that if it doesn't work out, I'll just go and I'll get half.
What do you mean? But see, that's the thing. I just assumed you were asking for half of the money, not half of the kids.
Everything. Like,
yeah.
I think the law is not pro.
Well, you can't. What if that person? What if that person who said that they were going to leave is someone who's physically abused?
That's where the court comes in. There are exceptions.
Okay, so there may be I hear what you're saying. Maybe there's jurisdictions, possibly in the United States, where those things come into play.
I mean, I know there is definitely at least
it's dangerous
though. There's one state where I think the husband can sue the person that your spouse cheated with.
Yeah.
It's just I'm just gonna weigh in here also, because I hear the question and I hear the answer, and I think that's what Barry's getting at. Not to put words in your mouth, it really is a slippery slope, because
slippery slope.
I look, I've been there. I know where Ben's question is coming from. At the same time, as a lawyer, I could put on my lawyer's hat, and I understand where Barry's answering the question. Like, it's really hard for the, for the court to start saying, like, we're going to police people. Like, it could bring us back to an age where we're kind of policing people and taking away people's civil liberties. It's kind of like that Peterson clip I sent you, Ben, where he was saying, like, what's best for the children? I'm going to tell you, an intact family is definitely best for the children. But Peterson also said, I'm not advocating for keeping people in a marriage against their will. And it's kind of a balance of, are we going to, yes, I can understand there's sort of an idea of not incentivizing people to just leave and be able to get half, as you put it. I mean, we're all simplifying here. But at the same time, are we going to make it so difficult for someone that it becomes a terror to try and get out of that marriage? That could be really difficult for that physically abused woman or man, because physical abuse could go both ways, for example. So it's really a balance. It's really, really complicated. It's not an easy thing it's a balance for the courts, right?
I feel that the system isn't balanced. I'll put it that way.